What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to be speaking about having your partner's Juno in your first house. So, what is Juno? Well, Juno is an asteroid, and in astrology, the placement of Juno in your birth chart shows what kind of partner you're attracted to in a long-term relationship. It also shows the way we approach a long-term relationship and a committed relationship. And it can also show the qualities that we seek to express or to embody and present in a committed relationship. So since Juno represents commitment and loyalty and pretty much the different partnership dynamics and the way they play out in a relationship, whenever Juno does aspect any planets or any parts of a person's birth chart, it's going to point towards where the significant connection or even any challenges in the long run of a long-term relationship or partnership can exist. So knowing your Juno and your partner's Juno and how it's influencing your birth chart and your partner's birth chart is quite significant to the connection, to your partnership and to your relationship overall in a pretty significant way. For instance, if there are more positive aspects being made to Juno in your SYNASTRY, this can show a strong sense of commitment and mutual respect between two people and the dedication towards each other's well-being within this relationship. However, on the other hand, having more challenging aspects with Juno in a SYNASTRY chart can show more so issues around things like trust, fidelity, and even power struggles and where they can come up in the relationship, which is why it can be especially very helpful in the long-term relationships when it comes to being able to work through or be able to have more awareness and clarity in any of the more difficult or challenging times of a long-term relationship. So in this video, I want to speak about having your partner's Juno in your first house. And when it comes to the first house is really the house of self and the way we present ourselves and the sense of identity that we have and show as ourselves to others in the context of being in a relationship with somebody else. It can show things like first impressions, the way that we are able to integrate our identity with another person's identity, and the influence that another person is going to have on our sense of self in a relationship as well. And of course, things like the growth of the individuals in the relationship and any challenges. So with that, since the first house is the face that we first see and is the identity of another person, it can also show the strong attraction, more so physical, especially when there are good aspects being made to the first house. With Juno in the first house of your partner's birth chart, or vice versa, this can definitely be a love at first sight kind of a case. So in this relationship, the first house person can look at the Juno person as everything that they want in a partner. They may consider them as the ideal when it comes to somebody that they want to commit to or somebody that they want to enter into a long-term relationship and be loyal to. And the Juno person has a way of being able to make the first house person feel like there's a sense of unconditional love that they are giving to the first house person. And with Juno coming into the first house in this SYNASTRY, they can be very confident in their relationship, and the way they feel about each other is very obvious and pretty visible. In their relationship, the relationship can be quite a focus for both of them, and there's the sense of wanting to be able to prioritize the relationship and a strong want to make it a focus. In fact, their relationship can feel like they have this very strong sense of having a shared purpose and being very unified in their relationship, which can be a positive thing, but it can also have its downsides. For instance, they can have this feeling of being so merged as far as their identities to the point that there can be a need for setting strong boundaries and being able to preserve their sense of autonomy as individuals in this relationship at times. And essentially, since Juno is the asteroid that's associated with commitment and loyalty and partnership and etc., the first house person can be very attracted to the way that the Juno person plays out these dynamics. And they can be very attracted to these qualities in the Juno person. And if, take for instance, the first house person is somebody who is not usually the commitment type, the Juno person can have a way of bringing that side out in them or inspiring that side out in the first house person. So the first house is associated with physical appearances, and for that reason, this industry can show them having a very strong physical attraction, which can still deepen their emotional connection and overall lend itself to that strong sense of chemistry between the first house person and the Juno person. For the first house person, they can feel this strong sense of connection and attraction and somewhat of a sense of significance with the Juno person. Something about the Juno person feels like it's going to be more so long-term potential. They can share in their goals, their values, and everything that they aspire to when it comes to commitment and partnership with the Juno person. While on the other hand, when it comes to the Juno person and how they feel about the first house person, the Juno person can look at the first house person and be very drawn towards the first house person's way of expressing themselves or presenting themselves in this world. They can be very attracted to the way that they exude their sense of self or their confidence, and the energy that the first house person gives off could be something that's very attractive to the Juno person. The Juno person can also be very physically attracted to the first house person and sense that sense of having a potential for long-term partnership with the first house person. They may want to build something that's going to last long and run deep when it comes to partnership with the first house person. And overall, the synastry can be a pretty harmonious and positive one to share with someone. They both have this emphasis on the idea of partnership when it comes to their relationship, and even just having equality in the relationship in a way that's fair, in a way that prioritizes each other's needs and keeps in mind each other when they are building that foundation in their relationship. The two individuals can be the ones that come out of this relationship, can lead to a shared purpose between the two individuals, which can be quite fulfilling on a personal level, and they can have a strong emotional connection as well. However, when it comes to the more challenging side or the more of the negative sides of the synastry is in how it can lead to codependency, depending on the first house person and the Juno person, and being able to maintain their sense of individuality in this relationship, especially when it comes to their creating a sense of shared purpose, shared identity in this relationship. That can be one thing to look out for, being able to maintain a sense of individuality and autonomy in the relationship, and being able to assert their sense of identity no matter how different, especially for the first house person, who can be overshadowed by the Juno person's wants and needs in and from the relationship. Since the Juno person can have that more outlined and figured out, and both of them in this relationship can need to really accept that perfection in the relationship is not always possible, and try not to seek perfection or the sense of fulfillment from just the relationship alone. Well, that does it for this video on having your partner's Juno in your first house in synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.